Town of Prescott Valley, regular town council meeting, November 9th, 2023, call to order. Clerk, please call the roll.
Here.
Here. Here.
Here.
Present.
Here.
Present. Thank you, ma'am. I'd like to welcome down Pastor Owen with the Heights Church for our invocation. Right on time.
Thanks for the privilege. Let's pray together. Almighty God, we come to you with reverence and gratitude. You are God above all others. Your strength has no equal. Your wisdom has no limit. Your ways and your thoughts are far above ours. We acknowledge that any authority and power entrusted to us is ultimately delegated from you, and it's to be used to protect those in need of justice and promote well-being for everyone placed under our care. So we come to you, God, as that ultimate authority. May our town be known as a place where what is right is rewarded, where what is good is promoted, where what is wise is pursued. Protect us, God, from those who wish to do us harm, and from ourselves for decisions we make in ignorance and haste or from ambition. We pray for our first responders, our educators, our public servants, our business and community leaders, our citizens, and especially our children. Protect us, and may we be well. And God, for those making decisions in this room, I pray a special blessing upon them. May they have health, insight, and courage to lead us well so that we can live peaceful, quiet lives marked by godliness and dignity. Thank you for hearing our prayer, O Lord. We pray these things in the name of your Son. Amen.
How about the little guy leads us in the pledge?
Absolutely. Would you lead us in the pledge?
Okay.
Start us off, buddy.
Microphone, baby.
Here,
The microphone.
right here. What do I say?
Do I say the normal one?
Yeah,
That's
the
cool.
normal one, like school. Yeah.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good job, buddy. Item 3, proclamation, Homeless Awareness Month. Clerk?
Homelessness Awareness Month. Agape House of Prescott, November 2023. Whereas since a staggering number of families and students in the Prescott Valley area live in crisis and are homeless, Prescott Valley, Arizona joins the nation in recognizing November as Homelessness Awareness Month. Last year, the Prescott and Humboldt Unified School Districts identified 182 homeless students. And whereas a healthy, supportive system is necessary for rebuilding lives, life skills training, mentoring, discipleship, and support are essential for successful transformation to the independent living for homeless families. And whereas since its incorporation in 2013, Agape House of Prescott has provided an interim place to call home for families in the Prescott area. Agape House helps families in crisis to rebuild, transform, and become self-sufficient members of society. They offer a safe place to raise their family and rebuild relationships. Agape House has an 86% success rate of families living independently 1 year after graduation from Agape House. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Kelpo Aguda, Mayor of the Town of Prescott Valley, do hereby proclaim November 2023 as Homelessness Awareness Month and encourage the residents of the Town of Prescott Valley to give back and become involved with Agape House of Prescott in their vision to providing a pathway to independence for families in crisis. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Item 4, call to the public. At this time, members of the public may comment on matters listed on the agenda or solely on matters within the jurisdiction of the town. Any persons wishing to address the council must register their name with the town clerk prior to the commencement of the meeting. The council's response is limited to responding to criticism asking staff to review a matter commented upon, or asking that a matter be put on a future agenda. Such remarks shall be limited to 3 minutes unless additional time is granted by the mayor. Clerk?
First person I would like to call is Steve Caros.
Welcome, sir. You might have to raise that microphone a little bit.
Thank you, Fatima. Recently, Mayor Palguda crossed yet another line when he posted overt Republican partisan posts on the internet. Seats on the Prescott Valley Town Council are to be 100% nonpartisan, and this is made clear to candidates at election time. To quote Mayor Palguda, he writes, "I am proud to have strong conservative values that believes in private property rights, free enterprise, and limited government overreach." Now, many of you know that I am definitively a conservative, a Republican, and I'm even a Bible teacher. So why would I take exception to this council member bringing partisan so-called conservative politics to the floor? First off, it is because his role is to not include such partisanship. It is wrong and unacceptable to do so when related to any local legislation council is considering. Moreover, my true conservative values look nothing like those held by the mayor. To quote, he mentions 3 supposed values, but the all-important freedom of speech isn't one of them. Mayor Palguda has relentlessly attacked Prescott Valley citizens' paramount right to free speech for years. Now let's look at the other 3. Private property rights. Those do not include a right of rezoning, and nor do they include a right of annexation. Free enterprise, well, that doesn't include the right to cause water shortages, and limited government overreach does not mean rubber stamping whatever developers want. Meanwhile, Mayor Palguda continued by personally attacking a woman as being a Democrat, and then went on to say, "I just refuse to allow the message of Democrats to try and trick members of this group into believing certain things." Mayor Palguda is trying to label groups, including and especially the Prescott Valley Citizens Alliance, also known as PVCA, as a liberal, divisive Democrat group. This is an unfortunate effort to mislead people, as PVCA is no such thing. I happen to be a founding member of the Prescott Valley Citizens Alliance. We strenuously and successfully work to establish PVCA as a nonpartisan group of people from all sides of our community for the betterment of Prescott Valley. Mayor Palguda's efforts are an unacceptable, erroneous continuation of his attacks on free speech within our community of Prescott Valley, and particularly against those who disagree with him. Will the mayor do the right thing and correct his misstatements? Probably not. That is why I had to come here tonight to do it for him.
Thank you, sir. Clerk?
Bill Williams. Bill Williams.
Welcome, sir.
Howdy. I'm Bill Williams. I have a master's degree in communications and journalism and an undergraduate degree in the same discipline and a 2-year paralegal degree. The law fascinates me, especially when it matters to us citizens, such as in the library lawsuit and the Quailwood lawsuit. Dorn, the developer of Quailwood, is fighting in federal court in Phoenix with an insurance company to pay for repairs of Quailwood homes. There were numerous homeowner complaints, and to Dorn's credit, they hired an engineering firm that found very serious problems with the trusses that hold a roof up. They found the wrong number of vents, blocked vents, insulation issues, roof truss uplift, which reshapes a truss and can pull ceiling panels apart, leading to interior wall cracking. Those were the complaints of about the first 38 homeowners. Dorn claims to have a hefty insurance policy that should take care of the repairs, but the insurance company is, of course, fighting. They hired an engineer who said, yes, cracking and baseboard separation were caused by displacement of roof trusses. Dorn hired another engineer They said, we've got cracking and baseboard separation and foundation issues, and roof and wall framing problems. But they also discovered foundation movement, responsible for some problems inside the homes. The foundation movement was caused by soils and moisture problems around and under the edge of the foundations. The result was called foundation edge lift. Another engineering firm was brought in for more evaluation, and then it approached 91 total Quailwood homes. Edge lift was blamed for much of the damage according to evidence in the federal lawsuit, which is still going on. They found problems with the drainage swales, which carry water and snow melt away from a home and off the lot. They were actually ponding water near the foundations. And they found pipes designed to carry water away that were sloping up in some places and moving water flow back towards the foundations. Mounds of landscaping were forcing water to flow back toward the foundations. Engineers recommended pulling out landscape planters, plants. All of that was in the way of the water flow. And they wanted replacement of drain lines, some of which were secured with duct tape. I think Dorn is actually trying to remedy the problems. Got to pat him on the back. But where were our inspectors, our permit staff, and our code enforcers? And if we continue with explosive growth, how will they keep up? Sounds like a town manager Davidson problem. We need more, better, well-qualified in those three categories. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Clerk?
Max Hathaway.
Welcome, sir.
Welcome. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to speak directly to you. I didn't count on the fact that you were going to be so close to me, though. I want to make an observation about neighborhood meetings. And I'll start by saying that obtaining reliable and accurate information about potential impacts of a proposed project is, as you know, very, very difficult, but it is necessary. That kind of information is the grist for sound decisions. I believe that a neighborhood meeting could serve a useful function in conveying basic information to concerned residents. But the format of the neighborhood meeting is decisive as to its success. I recently attended a neighborhood meeting sponsored by the Fain Signature Group concerning the proposed gravel pit south of East Old Black Canyon Highway in Prescott Valley. I wanted answers to some very basic questions about the potential impacts on the air quality, the public health, structural integrity of nearby homes, and the quality of life of the impacted residents. That's why I went there. As I entered the area, I was told that the town required me to sign in. Now, that struck me as odd, but I did. And then I entered the room. And what I saw was quite different than what I expected. There was no organized presentation. There were no fact sheets, no data sheets. There was no FAQ sheet. There were no copies of the project description that's contained in the initial review application or project review application. Instead, there were a number of stands set up with a tripod and a graphic and an individual standing next to that who was there to field questions. Around each of these stations was a scrum of people trying to be heard so they could pose a question and then trying to hear what the answer was. Now, it struck me that some of the persons there were more there to air grievances, sometimes based on misinformation, than they were on gathering information. But in any event, that format simply does not work, period. Nevertheless, the sponsors, the applicants, were able to harvest hundreds of signatures from people who were told they were required to sign in, perhaps as a way to demonstrate or suggest that they had informed the community about the project. They hadn't. So please consider either encouraging or requiring applicants to choose a format for a neighborhood meeting that is effective. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, sir. Clerk?
Sandy Cordova.
Welcome, ma'am.
I'm Sandy Cordova, and I live off of Whipsaw Lane in Prescott Valley. And I'm going to talk about what we all value here in our community. And I wonder if having friends and family and enough viable resources in your life are important. I know they're important for me. We take for granted that our home provides all our needs, the electricity, the gas, the water, and that sustains our lives. We strive for comfort and a sense of belonging to our community. But what happens when residents in our community realize sustainable resources are threatened? They speak to the decision makers, the town council, and town leaders to protect and act with compassionate care for our environment and our community. We all value the beauty and priceless land around us. We are surrounded by wildlife and receive water from the ground. How long will we be receiving these irreplaceable gifts? To continue building without regard or concern for nature, we all lose. How does this continued building without sufficient infrastructure protect the precious quality of life? We live in a dry environment where the temperature continues to rise and water evaporates at a faster rate. There is a current water conservation effort in place. Is that adequate for both protect our water supply and meet the town's growth plans? Show us you care for our community by preserving the land around us. Many of us see the fast-paced building without sufficient infrastructure as building the cart without the horse to pull it. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Clerk?
Kelly McCready.
Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you. My name is Kelly McCready with Busy Bee Learning Center. I'm a child care center on Florentine off of Navajo. And I was looking for some information online about the current state of the YMCA that's being built here in Prescott Valley. And I found an article from a year ago that said we would be breaking ground in early '23. And I see that that hasn't happened yet. And I'm wondering if the town is really getting good value for the investment, for the resource that they want for their residents. And maybe we need to take a better look at how that project is coming along, because in that article, I see that not only was there land donated, but $5 million in seed money that the article says shouldn't all be squandered. In the industry of providing childcare to young families in Prescott Valley, I want to make sure that the town is getting good value. As we grow, we're going to need lots of resources for young families. That really isn't what I came to talk about today. As I said, Busy Bee Learning Center, we are on Florentine, just east of Navajo, and we are getting ready to have lots of new neighbors at the Granite Mountain Apartments. And God bless Florentine Road. It looks beautiful. It's just had a facelift over the last year and a half. But we're struggling with what Florentine is going to look like as our families are dropping off their children, as the buses are coming down and stopping to offload and unload young children. And over 200 new residents are going to be trying to get onto Florentine to go to work every day. I think poor little Florentine is going to do its best, but it's going to need some extra support from the town. So I just wanted to put that out there so that we get a little bit of support down there. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. And ma'am, I'm hoping that you're sticking around for item 9A this evening. Clerk?
Diane Gomez.
Welcome, ma'am.
My name's Diane Gomez. I live in Dewey, and I came here to talk about the gravel pit and just let you know what everybody's thinking and doing. At first, we thought, no big deal. And I did talk to James Gregory about why Site 1 was asked by Cal and him to move to Site 2, which is what I'm talking about right now, which is near, a mile away from PCC. It's near Stone Ridge. It's right next to Blue Hills. So I started looking into it a little bit more, and then those doctors wrote the letter about the health effects of gravel pits and the air and all that. And so I thought, And then I looked and saw that that's zoned residential and that they have to change it to M1, the Fanes. So once again, we're being beset by the Fanes, who own all the land, and they want to change zoning or density, and it's always in the negative for the residents that are nearby. And I go, this is like a weird pattern. I don't know. I've never been aware of things like this, but this is at least the fourth recent development that has gone this way. So one of the girls in our group is starting a petition drive to change, I'm trying to get the words right because it's like confusing, change the Fanes request from a minor general plan amendment to a major general plan amendment. Because we're going to try to do what we can do to stop or at least be part of the decision-making. To me, they have a lot of land. I haven't investigated it, but they have a lot of land. And I would say a quarry pit should probably at this point in time go somewhere where it's not near to a residence, like within 10 miles of. Like if you wanted to do it without making people mad. But now a lot of people are mad. So this is what we're doing. And we're also in contact with the Attorney General because of Chino Valley. So we're thinking, oh, good, maybe we can get on that boat. And then we're thinking, because he stopped the Chino Valley thing, or she stopped it with an injunction. And then we are in contact with the EQ, QD? I don't know, the air quality people. And they said, once the Fanes apply for a permit, we can start contacting them then more. So what I'm saying is, why don't the Fanes make it easy on themselves? Pick a different place, Site 3, Site 4. Anyway, that's it.
Thank you, ma'am. Clerk?
Joe Hoytis.
Jersey Joe is coming to the microphone, everyone. Get ready.
I'm going to try to lighten this up, everyone, have some good things to say. I myself, and about 29, Gil, other people just completed the Citizens Academy. Great course. Let me just run through, for everyone else here, some of the topics that were up there. I have a cold from fishing in the cold weather. That's my nose is running. The city council, the council management, city clerk's office, is that one? Development and neighborhood services, public safety. These were my favorite. Chief Tyson and Scott Freetag. Public service guys behind me. Public safety, economic development, Chamber of Commerce, they were there. They were great. Community services, water resources, public works, finance and IT. And the last one, but not the least, was the roundtable at the end. These two guys did a fantastic job. Gil Davison and Ryan Judy. All right there. Fantastic. And I would advise everyone, if they can, they have the time, take this course. Very informative, and you'll enjoy it. Except for the night that Ryan takes off to go to the ball game because we ended up with crummy pizza. But other than that, we all had a good time. Thank you very much.
1 out of 10, Joe, 10 being the highest. How do you rate the class?
Well, I missed one that you were there, so I guess a 9.
A 9? We'll take a 9. Clerk?
Atilano Olivas.
Welcome, sir.
Council, manager, and you too, Mayor. I greet you all. My topic is going to be on water. My background is engineering, a lot of you know me, heavy industrial. I design power plants, water purification systems, mines, refineries. I am construction management, procurement, and new design concepts. What I'm going to talk about right now is how to help the citizens here preserve and keep water and use correctly. If you're building a 1,000 gallon, to me that is wrong. We cannot do a hydro test in our homes and check and see if we have a water leak, if our foundations can be being eroded by water leaking from our pipes and systems, roads, intersections have caved in. We need to change your billing to include, and I've seen your software, it's there. You just have to spread open your spreadsheet and get it down to the tenths of a gallon. It's there. So we can do a water test and train the public how to do it correctly, to get new plumbing, to check for water leaks, to do a hydro test in our home and read the dial for 1 hour that it doesn't move. A lot of people don't know that. Then the water moves, they start checking their homes, their toilets, their sinks, and the hot water heater. That one's a bad one. It's usually put beside the house, close to the foundation. It causes deterioration of the ground, erosion, you have cracks, and damages to the house. The responsibility of your code person, oh, my favorite person, is to do a write-up on this, and to train the citizens of Prescott Valley on how to check for water leaks and conserve water. I've been living here almost 12 years. No, 12 years. And it's just me and my wife. I calculate that I use about 28 to 32, 3,200 gallons per month. Yet my bill comes in at 4,000. I'm not happy about that. The city of Mesa, where I lived at, it went into tenths, and I was able to track my leaks and repair my systems. My bill was correct. Here it is not. There is a lot of feeling that at the end of 12 months, you could be charged for a month of usage by estimating 1,000 gallons. You have about 23 to 25,000 meters. Can you imagine how much money and water is misused and lost? These high suspicions.
Mr. Olivas, I appreciate you coming out. More importantly, thank you for your service. Please share with the crowd where you served. I can't quite see it on your hat.
Say again?
The service,
Oh, Navy Seabee.
Navy Seabees. Again, thank you for your service, sir.
Okay, with that, I'll leave you guys. I like this gentleman's speech right here. It was very good. I'll talk to you later.
Clerk?
Darlene Packard.
Good evening,
Good evening, ma'am.
Mayor and Council. I am here at the request of former Councilwoman Lauren Lee Nye. She asked me to read her letter in favor of the Y. So I'll begin. My name is Lauren Lee Nye. I have been a resident of Prescott Valley for 24 years. I served on the town council for 17 and a half years, and I served as vice mayor multiple times. It is with joy and relief that I urge the Prescott Valley Council to move forward and finalize the building of a YMCA in Prescott Valley. Our families have been consistently vocal over many years in their desire for a YMCA in Prescott Valley. I recall clearly how I was bombarded with citizens' requests and needs during my tenure on the council and realized that it has likely intensified for each of you. This, however, is an opportunity for each of you to literally improve the lives of your citizens and become part of Prescott Valley's history for doing so. Respectfully, Lauren Lee Nye. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Clerk?
Joseph Contadino.
Welcome, sir.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. My name is Joe Contadino. I've been working in Prescott Valley now for 28 years, property owner for 23 years, and I've been developing the Granville Master Plan community. I'm here to encourage you to approve moving forward with the YMCA. I think tonight is approval of an operating agreement. But this is an important element in the growth of the town. Back in 1995, when there was very little here, if you were here, you know how little there was. Bill Fain and the town council had a vision for what they thought the town could become. And in that time, Universal Homes became acquainted with Bill and the town, and we were lucky enough to take the initial steps in the creating of the vision that the town had. At that time, pretty much all of the tax revenues that the town residents spent went to other communities. There was very little opportunity for any goods or services here. You either went to Prescott, Flagstaff, or Phoenix, and you purchased whatever you needed, and they got all of our tax dollars. In the last 20 years or so, there's been a tremendous amount of growth in the town in terms of investment, where we now have goods and services that we could never get that are now here. And the town has grown, as I'd like to say, view it as a mosaic. The town is the sum total of all the elements that go together to make it. And there's small pieces and big pieces. It's like a big jigsaw puzzle. And when you have all the pieces fitting together and working together, this is a very great town, and it's coming. The council has been, had a vision over these last 17 years. Lorelei Nye was a member of the council, and all of the members that I've dealt with over those years have had a vision for the growth of the town. And I believe that that the YMCA is a mosaic piece to the growth of the town, to the overall lifestyle, bringing people together as neighbors, creating community. And that's what makes the town great. And I believe that will happen if you go forward with it.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate your time.
So,
Your time's up, sir. Your time?
yeah,
It's over.
yeah. On a maybe less, maybe directing some of the anger that some of the people bring to these meetings to myself tonight, it's common knowledge that there's always a group of people that show up that are opposed to everything. And generally, the idea is to close the gates, stop the growth, don't let anybody else in, and there's all kinds of reasons why we need to do that.
Yes, sir.
whether-
Thank you very much, sir. We appreciate it.
So my hope would be, yeah, my hope
Mr.
would be
Contino.
that you continue to do what's great for the town.
Thank
and
you
its citizens.
again, sir. Thank you for coming. Clerk.
No one else, Mayor.
Thank you, ma'am. Next up, council comments. I'll start on the end down here. Ma'am? Councilwoman Dickinson?
Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. So it's been a while since we've met the last time, and a few things have been going on. And I just wanted to share a couple of things that we were involved in. The Lions Club had a safe trick or treat at the Findlay Toyota Center. There were food trucks there. There must have been 20,000 people that showed up. I was working on the Kiwanis table as a volunteer, and there were more people than I have ever seen wrapped around the Findlay Toyota Center, inside and out, clear out to the parking lot. There were trucks up and down Main Street. It was phenomenal. And I just want to thank everybody for participating in this huge event that we had, and thank all the kids and families for coming out and sharing with us. Another thing that happened that particular day, we had the annual legislative luncheon with our legislators, State Representative Quan Nguyen and Representative Selena Bliss and State Senator Ken Bennett were here, and we had a very productive meeting and luncheon with them, and it is an annual event that we have with our legislators, and we want to thank them again for their hard work on behalf of our town. Thank you.
Councilman?
I just wanted to remind everybody that tomorrow, Friday the 10th, is Veterans Day, so please remember to fly your flags. Highway 69 will have the Avenue of Flags going down, and if able, please visit our National Veterans Cemetery in Prescott, as right now the flags and wreaths are being placed at the grave sites of all of our fallen heroes. It's a salute to our men and women who have served our country, so just a reminder that tomorrow's Veterans Day. Thank you.
Vice Mayor?
Welcome, everybody. Thank you for being here. I want to announce an event that's coming up. Miss Madeline Stewart, who is a Down syndrome supermodel, will be here at Lessons by Lexi on November 17th from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. And there's other locations in the valley that she'll be as well. But I taped this to the table outside if you want to take a picture of it. It's a must-see event, and the tagline is Beyond the Label, Better Together. So it's a must-see. And then I also want to congratulate our Councilwoman Hepperly. I'm reading a quote here. Congratulations again on being selected as the 2023 recipient of the Honors Heroes Among Us First Responder Spouse Award. You are certainly worthy of the honor. Thank you, April.
Wow. Councilwoman?
Well, I just want to point out that award was given by Bethany's Gate Ranch, which is a nonprofit in Chino Valley that rescues horses and then uses the horses for therapy for first responders and veterans and their families. So that's the most important takeaway of that event. And then also, because we only have one meeting a month, I wanted to get this now because by the time we're back here, it will be over. But the Winter Spectacular is December 2nd from 2 to 8, and that includes the Christmas tree lighting and the light parade. I mean, it was a great event last year, and all of our events just keep getting better and better. So come on out.
Councilwoman?
Well, I have great news to share with everyone. We recently formed, as a part of the Prescott Valley Chamber of Commerce, we formed the Hispanic Business Association, and we've been successfly gather a few members every week, and so our organization is growing and is going to be a great platform for all the businesses, Hispanic-owned, and from the county. We have a few that are not 100% Hispanic-owned, but they want to be a part of it, and it's amazing, and I'm really happy about that. Also, I'm on the board for the YRMC Foundation, and there's great community services that are coming along that we're planning for next year, and it's just a great feeling to be part of the community and to have these amazing things happening for next year. So.
Thank you, ma'am. I just want to make an announcement that this will be my last meeting for this year. I will not be here next month, and I just wanted to wish you all, happy holidays. You can clap if you want, Joe, it's okay. So I just wanted to let you all know that, but again, if I don't see you, happy holidays to everyone. Mr. Davidson?
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, two things. Our monthly report for October, which is a summary of all of our stats from the departments and activities that have taken place throughout the month, will be finalized next week and distributed and available on our website for the public to also view. And I'm very excited to announce that we only have one more meeting in this location. And just so everyone knows, the library is under construction, if you've not seen that. And so we needed a new location. We have December, we'll be in here, and then we'll be going back in January. And we'll be starting our regular schedule again with study sessions and our 2 regular meetings. So thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next up, consent agenda. All matters listed under consent agenda are considered routine by the town council and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items. If discussion is desired, that item will be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered separately. Council, we've all had a chance to review our consent agenda. If there's an item we wish to remove, please make that note. If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor,
Seriously?
That's it.
Yes, we gotta go. Oh, my gosh.
Did that.
Did somebody hide?
I guess we'll be back on now. And when we left off, I was asking for an item to be removed from consent agenda. Now is the time to do it. And if not, we will be entertaining a motion in a second.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve the consent calendar, which includes the reappointment of Thomas Hickson to the Municipal Property Court. So thank you for Thomas for reapplying. So with that, I would like to make a motion to approve all the items listed under consent agenda by electronic vote.
I second it.
Clerk, please call the vote.
Councilmember Hepperly?
Yes.
That passes unanimously, Mayor.
Thank you, ma'am. Item 8, zoning code amendment, ZOA 23-003. Reference fees and planning and zoning chair selection, consideration and possible action. Ms. Kennedy, it is not you. Mr. Ruby, welcome, sir.
You get the second team, sir. Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council, the item before you is the second reading for the zoning code amendment 23-003. Staff has nothing further to add at this time. Be glad to answer any questions if you have them.
Council, have any questions for Mr. Ruby? Seeing none.
Ordinance number 2023-929. An ordinance of the mayor and common council of the town of Prescott Valley, a municipal corporation of Arizona, adopting by reference that certain document entitled Amendments Chapter 13 Zoning, Procedures, Fee Adoption, and P&Z Commission Chairperson Selection, ZOA 23-003, declared by resolution number 2023-2346 to be a public record, amending or repealing various sections in Chapter 13 that set fees, charges, fines, and sanctions to refer instead to the comprehensive fee schedule separately adopted from time to time by resolution of the Town Council, amending Section 13-12 2820 structure to clarify and streamline the election and terms of office of the Planning and Zoning Commission chairperson and vice chairperson, and providing that all other chapters, articles, and sections of the town code not herein repealed or amended shall remain in full force and effect, providing that if any provision in this ordinance is held invalid by a court of competent jurisdiction, the remaining provision shall not be affected, but shall continue in full force and effect, and providing that this ordinance shall be effective 30 days after its passage and approval according to law.
Thank you, ma'am. Shall this ordinance pass?
That passes unanimously, Mayor.
Thank you, ma'am. Next up, item 8B, bulk water sales regulations. Mr. Wadsworth.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This is also a second reading for the bulk water sales regulations, and at this time, I would answer any questions that you might have.
Council, we have any additional questions from Mr. Wadsworth? Seeing none, clerk?
Ordinance number 2023-926, an ordinance of the mayor and common council of the town of Prescott Valley, a municipal corporation of Arizona, adopting by reference that certain document amendments town code chapter 9 regulation bulk water sales declared by resolution number 2023-2345 to be a public record, amending sections 9-05A 45 water conservation, 9-05A 75 domestic water system maintenance, and 9-05A 90 cross connection control program, remaining and amending section 9-05A 80 hydrants and adding a new section 9-05A 85 water fill stations in Article 9-05A, Domestic Water Service, and amending Section 9-05B 45, Water Conservation, 9-05B 80, Reclaim Water System Maintenance, and 9-05B 90, Hydrants, and adding a new Section 9-05B 95, Water Fill Stations, in Article 9-05B, Reclaim Water Service, all in Chapter 9, Health and Sanitation of the Town Code, to regulate bulk water sales as part of implementing the town's water management plan, providing that all other chapters, articles, and sections of the Town Code not herein renamed, amended, and enacted shall remain in full force and effect, providing that if any provision in this ordinance is held invalid by a court of competent jurisdiction, the remaining provision shall not be affected, but shall continue in full force and effect, and providing that this ordinance shall be effective 30 days after its passage and approval according to law.
Thank you, ma'am. Shall this ordinance pass?
That passes unanimously, Mayor.
Thank you, ma'am. Next up, new business, item 9A, Facilities Management Agreement, Supersede Development Agreement, PBCCI. Consideration possible action. Mr. Davidson.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, I'm going to give a brief overview of what this item is about, and then we have some special guests that are here as part of the broader team that are going to also be a part of this presentation. Over the past several years, we have been working with the Prescott YMCA and the Prescott Valley Community Center Initiative team to construct for our community a state-of-the-art YMCA. Tonight's item is what we're calling a phase 1 component of this project, and that is what is before consideration of the council. And then there will be a possible phase 2, which would include a full aquatic center, and you'll see the highlights of what the center will contain in the first phase. This has been a long-standing goal of many generations of council, staff, and the broader community to build a high-quality recreation center that will serve the needs of our very broad and diverse community. The item that is being considered by the council is what's called a Facilities Management Agreement, and it's structured in such a way that the town is it will finance design, construct, and maintain the facility, while the YMCA will be contracted with managing the day-to-day operations, which is hiring staff, building the membership, and then providing programs to the broader community. The town will have access to the facility for town-sponsored events up to a certain number of times of year in collaboration with the YMCA team. This proposed facility, and per this agreement, is not to exceed $29 million in total design and construction costs. The town will finance approximately $22 million. $4 million is going to be available from the federal government that was provided to the town through the CARES Act. And then the remainder, or the balance, will be through donations provided by the YMCA. If the project exceeds this amount as we continue with further design of the facility, if it exceeds that amount, the town does have the option to pause the agreement and to possibly even cancel, not proceed further if it's higher than the $29 million. Before the town goes to construction, which is approximately, it'll be over a year from this point, we would need to go and sell bonds, which is basically like taking out a mortgage, and municipal government will issue bonds through a third-party investment firm, and we'll have then the construction dollars that we will use to pay the construction team and complete the project. At that time, when we go through that process, that will be another approval that the town council will have to be engaged with, is the actual approval of the bonds. And we will be talking about interest rates and the term of the payback for those particular bonds. The project is located not too far from our Civic Center. It is south of the Bob Edwards Park, just adjacent to Viewpoint Drive. So it's in a great location next to one of our public parks here in the heart of Prescott Valley. And at this time, I'd like to introduce the YMCA team, and they're going to have a short presentation. And then after that, we'll take questions from the council. So I'd like to introduce Damon Olson, who is going to walk us through the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Gilbert. Thank you, Town Council. It's good to see you guys here tonight, and we appreciate all that you've done for this project and listening to, and town staff have been fun to work with. I don't know if fun is the exact word, but they're certainly working for you on your behalf. So that's a wonderful thing. Before we get to the slides, I would like to share just a little bit of background about myself. I first stepped into a YMCA when I was 5 years old, and that was in Hawaii, in Kailua, Hawaii, where I grew up. My dad worked for the Y in Hawaii. I learned how to swim. I played almost every single sport, participated in almost every single program that the YMCA that I was at had. I liked it so much, in fact, that when I got done with school, I decided that I would make it, I would try working at the Y. And my dad said, "Are you sure?" And I said, "Well, let me give it a shot." I did, and if I make it to December 3rd of this year, that'll be 31 years. I've been around the YMCA my entire life. Giving birth to the YMCA is no easy feat, as we all know, but I believe it's the ultimate gift that can be given to a community. A gift that will yield generational dividends in the form of a safer and more connected community. More educated children will learn the values of caring, honesty, respect, and responsibility, and there will be opportunities for people to build lifetime bonds and friendships. It takes, when we started this most recent journey in 2019, we wanted to see if we could make this thing work. It takes a half a ton and maybe 2 tons of due diligence, which we have done. And it takes a lot of work by the town staff and by our team. So without further ado, let's get to the slides. Is it just a forward arrow button?
Should be, yes.
All right. Out here you see the very front part of the building. That would be the building facing north. Splash pad would be over where you see the red areas are. It looks like we're possibly having a gathering out in front because the YMCA is a gathering place. And a lot of people see this as a nice shiny building, which it is. I also see hope. When we had to be closed for the COVID pandemic, many people called and said, I miss my friends. I miss a place to gather. And this is a YMCA that many, many people will gather at. Next, so there's two buildings. One main building, it's a two-story structure. Right next to it's the Early Learning Center. And you see that right there, young minds will learn, grow, and explore during the vital early learning ages. I see also a place where every kid from every socio-economical background can learn and grow together. Here's a lobby, another gathering place. High ceilings you can see inside and out, down to where the fitness center will be in gathering rooms. It's beautiful. Grow Development did a lot of the architectural renderings for it. They've been along with our team for the whole time. They've built approximately 800 something YMCAs in their existence, and probably more in the future. But you see the Welcome Center and you see the lobby, but I also see a place where multiple generations create meaningful connections. Next, we have the gym. It's an outstanding feature of a YMCA. Many, many, many things happen in the gymnasium. It's divided there. You can see in the middle, so multiple programs can happen on each half. And during the cold weather times, you can see up above there's a suspended track where people can walk and run. So we do a lot of things in our gymnasium. And where people see a basketball court, we see sportsmanship and teamwork taught to kids through the guidance of a volunteer coach. At our YMCA in Prescott, in 1 week, we have over 49 events happening in that gym. Next, you see the group exercise studio, and it looks like we're getting ready to have a foam roller class. It's going to be fantastic, state-of-the-art equipment, sound, mirrors, and it's going to be awesome. But a lot of people see it just as, a workout studio. We see it as an experience that creates a sense of community while creating a healthy lifestyle. At our YMCA in Prescott, we have over 90 classes in a week that happen throughout this room here, the gymnasium, and 2 other rooms. So many, many, many classes happen there. Next, you see the upper level, the treadmills. In the fitness center, you can see views out to the south, I think out to the north, and over where the park is going to be. The location could not be any better. As Gilbert has mentioned, top-of-the-line state-of-the-art equipment for people to exercise. We also see members learning healthy habits and overachieving and achieving their goals. Next, you see this microphone. Next, you see the Child Watch Center and the Child Care Center. This is where kids will go and play while mom and dad work out, giving them some respite. And they can also grow and learn in that area. That'd be an unlicensed area, unlike the licensed child care facility, which is the other building. But you can see this, this is a community center, but we see kids learning and thriving in that area. This is a community room. We'll have community rooms at this YMCA. People gather again. Many, many meetings will happen in these rooms. It'll have all the modern things in it that you would expect a new building to have. But where you might see a multi-purpose room, we see an investment in creating leaders in the future. This, I believe, was in your packet, and this is the layout. This is the first floor. You can see the Child Watch and Kids Adventure on the lower side with the multi-purpose room, locker rooms, admin, and gym. And on the separate building would be the Child Care Center, and up above to the right would be where the splash pad would go. That is the second floor, and you can see the track that is suspended above the gym. And what we're going to do, we're not going to do questions now. We're going to wait till all of us talk, and then we'll come back up and give you the opportunity to ask us questions then. Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Mr. Polk, welcome.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, my name is Stephen Polk. I'm the attorney for the Y. And when I say the Y, I mean Prescott Valley Community Center Initiative, which is a subsidiary of the Prescott YMCA. So real briefly, I'm just going to go over the key terms of this agreement for you. This is a public-private partnership. The facility will be owned by the town. The land that's currently owned by the Prescott YMCA, that'll be donated to the town. That's worth about $2 million. And that land was donated to the YMCA by a generous donor. And then the Y will contribute approximately $3 million to help construct this facility. Of course, that money was fundraised, again, by generous donors. And every single Y board member has personally donated funds to this project, and that will be donated to the town. And that just shows you how much we, the YMCA, believe in this project and how much good it will do for the community. Management terms. So this will be managed by the Y as a YMCA facility. It'll be under YUSA guidelines. Some great examples of that are under YUSA guidelines. If you're a member of the Prescott Valley YMCA, that membership's good and valid at the Prescott YMCA and vice versa. So we get all the benefits of falling under YUSA. The management term is for an initial term of 20 years and a renewal term for an additional 20 years. And that gives community members, it gives donors, it gives everyone the assurance they need to put their heart and soul into this project and to make sure this is the best possible YMCA. There are some great community accommodations that are coming with this. The parking lot for this facility, that will be adjacent to Bob Edwards Park on the south side. For many of our residents, we know that the Bob Edwards Park does not have sufficient parking right now. It gets parked up all along the roadways for children's sports events. So this parking lot will be open to the public. It'll serve Bob Edwards Park. It'll also serve the splash pad. That'll be free and open during operating hours. So people can come and park in this parking lot. They can go to the splash pad, they can go to Bob Edwards Park, or they can come and use the YMCA. The splash pad is going to have some state-of-the-art water recirculation system. Well, I know water conservation is really important to us. If you've ever seen the current splash pad that's there, that doesn't have a water recirculation system. By the end of the day, that water's running down the road and then kind of running off for quite a bit. So by recirculating the water, we'll have substantially reduce the water consumption. And then to accommodate the splash pad, there will be external restrooms that will serve the splash pad. Any of you who have a little one like I do, you know restrooms are a good thing. Financials, all of the revenues will stay with this facility. So all the membership dues, all the funds raised at this facility, they will stay in the Prescott Valley facility. There's no management payment by the town to the YMCA to manage this, and that is another huge and very valuable thing. Just by way of example, just 2 years ago or so in Colorado, there was a city, they built a YMCA, they did a facilities management agreement, brought in the YMCA. That includes a $500,000 a year subsidy to the Y, because it does cost money to run a YMCA. So it's huge. We don't have a management payment here. We're able to project out that we can make this work. That is in part through the phased approach here. So during phase 1 here, there is no management payment. And then the Y is responsible for all of its own launch costs. So that includes all the hiring staff before it's open, training them in the early years while building up memberships. The revenues aren't as high. And so we're projecting that'll be about $1 million cost actually for that launch cost. And that's something where the town's not going to have to pay for. The YMCA will be responsible for that. And we're going to do that through fundraising. So with the council's approval tonight, we will go out and we will launch a fundraising campaign to help cover these costs. And then the aquatic center. The aquatic center is planned for phase 2. It will be a really nice aquatic center. It'll be bigger and better than the Prescott pool. But this comes with the phase 2. And this is the most financially viable path forward. This is the right path forward to make the dream of a YMCA in Prescott Valley a reality. But we all know that a YMCA without a pool is not a YMCA. And so this is phase 2. And we as a community, we're all going to have to come together to be able to make phase 2 a reality. And so at this time, I just want to say a special thank you to all the donors that have already donated to help make this project happen. I wanted to say a thank you to the staff. They've been excellent to work with, and to the council for having this vision. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to to Wayne Bennett for some parting comments.
Thank you, sir. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Mayor, council, staff, my name is Dr. Wayne Bennett. It's my privilege to serve as the chairman of the Prescott Valley Community Center Initiative. Near the end of the last century, it was also my privilege to serve on the steering committee that was delegated with the responsibility of building the Prescott YMCA. And during that process, we learned very clearly that there was even then a need for a YMCA in Prescott Valley. And so in 1999, in my capacity as immediate past chair, I was delegated the task of getting the ball rolling on building a YMCA in the town of Prescott Valley. As has been pointed out multiple times, that process has been undergoing since that period of time. Today, nearly a quarter of a century later, and after thousands and thousands of hours of labor, mostly by volunteers, we find ourselves standing at the brink of making that dream a reality. This has been and will continue to be a massive undertaking. It's not going to be an easy task. Making the commitment to do this is not an easy decision. The future is uncertain. But I can tell you this, when we built the YMCA, we had no idea that the COVID virus would impact our community the way that it did, the devastating effect that it had. And as a YMCA, what we did was we did what Ys do. We partnered with the governor's office to bring childcare to the children of first responders and healthcare workers so that they could do their job. We partnered with the school system to bring teachers into empty workout studios with chairs and tables and laptops. And we brought education to the children who had working parents who could otherwise have to be forced to attend school at home, which we all know didn't work at all. And so we created an environment out of adversity to fill those needs. And I can also tell you that if some adverse disaster befalls our community at some point in the future, the Y will continue to do what YMCAs have done for the last 179 years, and that is to fill community needs. And you can be assured that that will be happening if we build a YMCA. And in the meantime, the YMCA will be continuing to provide routinely the desperately needed childcare, family support, community health services, and more to the thousands of families that are not getting those services now and who will be if we are able to build this facility. To think of this YMCA, and Damon touched upon this very well, as a facility investment or a fitness center or a gym is missing the point nearly entirely. It's like calling a home a house. The YMCA facility will be the vessel within which true community healing occurs. And I am sure that you as a council during your term of service to this community will accomplish many great things. I can tell you that it is my opinion that the creation of being the council that will bring a YMCA to this community will be your legacy to this community. And I thank you for doing that. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Damon, you coming back up, or Mr. Polk, are you, all of you? I don't know.
Thank you, council. No, this concludes our presentation to you. We're available for any questions, but we do urge the council to approve this tonight. Thank you.
Gotcha. You might want to just stay up there, Stephen, just see if there's any questions or comments. I think everyone will have something to kind of say in regards to this. I'll kick things off with, basically, I believe, yes, it is a staple in our community, 100%. And I know not a lot of people, but people always question different directions of the town or what we do for certain projects. And there was times where people questioned the library being built, or the purchase of the event center, or the purchase of the wheelhouse, or even Santa Fe Park being built. And there's always going to be some questions. Nothing's filled with certainty. I get that. But at the end of the day, we still owe it to our residents and the children and the community as a whole, because not a week goes by, and that's no exaggeration, that someone doesn't ask about the YMCA, or how can we have a YMCA here, how they go to Prescott for a YMCA. I had about 50 kids from 3rd grade in my office last week, and they all wanted to know about that. They wanted to know about what a YMCA, where it was going, what it would be. Just having that idea or having that hope, it was something that's huge for them. So again, I'll add some more comments in a little bit, but I'd like to hear from council. Anyone? Councilman Gear.
I think we all agree that the YMCA would be a wonderful addition to Prescott Valley. The Y was certainly important in my growing up. As a matter of fact, my father was an architect, and he designed the Montecito, California YMCA. So we know the value.
Thank you, ma'am. Councilman?
This procedure for going forward and discussing this new building in our community has been least of all complicated, and has been, we've had a lot of information. Sometimes it has materialized, and other instances it has not materialized. And I am of the same mindset as the others here on the council, that this would be a wonderful benefit to our community, a wonderful contribution. We appreciate the donation from the anonymous source. We know who that is, but we know the endeavors of the PVCCI and their board, and the challenges that they have faced. We've received phone calls and emails, and I have knocked on at least a couple hundred doors in my neighborhood, talking to my neighbors about this project as well. And some are enthusiastic, some are not. The biggest part being that, of course, as you mentioned, the swimming pool. As I understand it, with this new agreement, this facility management agreement, the PVCCI, a little bit of history, in a 2 to 3 year period promised to raise $10 million, but to date has $1.2 million in the bank. They indicated a while ago that they would have $3 million toward the building with a gym, child care center, and splash pad, and not to include the swimming pool or aquatic center, and by the end of this year, at least breaking ground, and that hasn't happened. This new agreement changes the rules and the outline of the original agreement as we had understood it. And it, as has been mentioned by Gilbert, will be giving the PVCCI another year to raise approximately $1 million in startup costs and to get the uncollected balance of the $3 million they need to have before breaking ground. This is how I understand it and how I've interpreted everything that I've read and conversations that we've had in meetings. In Exhibit D that was attached to this, these sums include pledges with contingencies. One pledge to be paid upon obtaining building permits and groundbreaking with a deadline of February 18th, 2024. Another fund or donation, which was being included in the funds, has already been received, is a local initiative support corporation grant to small businesses for $150,000, which funding was already used in support of the child care portion of the YMCA for pre-development services with a grant expenditure deadline of September 1st, 2023. No money coming to the town from that. The PVCCI has indicated the cost of the building will be 24 million, possibly 25. But according to other sources for the town, the cost will be closer to 29 million, which we have already heard from Gilbert. So it's understood that under the original agreement, 2.5 years ago, they were to raise $10 million toward the first phase of the building, of which they have only raised $1.2 million. And that they suspended their fundraising efforts several months ago because it was too hard. And in one instance, the war in Ukraine has put a damper on one of the donors. My question is, where is the enthusiasm and support for this project? Now, I've heard what the mayor has said, but like I said, I've knocked on over 200 doors in my neighborhood. One individual, one woman, discussed with me the child care. And she says, well, what about the other child care facilities in town? So there are, as the one lady brought up, concerned businesses that they will be affected by this. And going on, the Prescott Valley right now survives on sales tax, which includes a food tax or grocery tax. As I understand it, the Arizona State Senate voted to eliminate the food tax in this last year's legislative session, but it was vetoed by Governor Hobbs. If this is brought up again next year, we could face a $4 million deficit to our general fund, which would affect our road maintenance, city services, and public safety. And that would go on until that would be changed in another way. The funds could be raised someplace else. But you're probably very aware of that food tax and how it affects at least 70 out of 91 towns in our state. Considering other financial responsibilities our town has at this time, the wheelhouse that's mentioned here, Finley Toyota Center, the upcoming purchase of Glassford Dells Regional Park, the continuation of the Yava line. We have a few others as well. My feeling is the timing is not right for this project. The money is just not there. We would be shutting down the Bob Edwards splash pad that we just recently put in to build the new splash pad for the Y. And when or if we will build the aquatic center for the Y, we will fill in and close down the Mountain Valley Park swimming pool. What this current agreement entails is just the building, the gym, the childcare, and the splash pad, no pool or aquatic center, which is what most people are interested in. In the matter of the childcare facility, that the Y would provide the pictures and data provided as shown. It would be a state-of-the-art facility similar to one in Colorado that was visited by our staff. But I understand there are a number of Ys that belong to the Northern Colorado Y as a conglomerate. And they all support each other. Some of those facilities are between 50 to 100 years old. And some of those towns have populations between 100 to 350,000 people. And we're still under 50,000 people here. This YMCA would be an asset to the community, and I'm sure we would be very, very proud of it, and I know I would be. I have spoken to a few of our existing child care facilities, and the biggest need in our community is infant care, 0 to 1 years old needing diaper care. I understand special certification is needed to have this kind of care, and there are only 2 of these facilities in our area who have it. From what I understand, the Y does not intend to have this. They will provide child care for ages 2 through 12. In light of this, and as a fiduciary steward of our town, and as much as I would like to have this as a legacy to my name, I cannot support this project at this time.
Thank you, ma'am. Councilwoman Schumacher?
Again, I liked what you present, and of course, I'm like everyone else. You offer me a shiny new car, I'm going to want it. My car has over 200,000 miles. So it's something that I have to now shop for. When I look at this building, I love what I see. I just don't like the cost. So it's not the cost of what it is, because I understand I'm in construction. I understand construction very well. In 2006, China decided to build a huge dam, and concrete from all over the world, including Arizona, was shipped to China. That meant we could not get concrete products to start foundations. We couldn't do grout for putting in tile. It was a burden to all of the construction company across the world for China to build a dam, and nobody was given notice. That's not something anybody anticipated when you're out bidding for doing jobs. I was in a log home building company. So there's so many unforeseen things that we cannot predict. We didn't predict that with COVID that the cost of building something was going to not only double but triple. The price of materials has not yet come back down. I think the economy with the way it is now, we have a presidential election next year and things could change. So for me, I would like to table this one more year. I know it sounds horrible because I don't want to say let's postpone it. It's been something that's been in the works for so long. It's wanted by everyone. I don't think anyone here doesn't want a YMCA. Of course we do. We want child care. We're talking a membership of about 3,000 people to support this facility once it's built, from what I understand. And when we're talking the $29 million, this is just for the child care center. This is not the entire project, correct?
Councilwoman, no, that's for the entire
the
Phase 1
entire-
project, everything
okay,
but the
entire phase.
aquatic center.
And we're talking over 40 years almost of payment, regardless of whether or not it's ever completed. When we enter into this, it means whether it's successful or not, whether it's shut down or not, it means the town is now obligated to go forward for 40 years, right? For us to make this happen, it means all the citizens are going to need to want to be on board for this. And I don't think all the citizens of a town of 50,000 are going to be able to utilize this facility. We all want to. Maybe we'll get around to it. Maybe we'll have it. I have 3 swimming pools at my availability living in Granville, and I don't get to go swimming because I'm working too much. So that's the hard part, is saying, is the need necessary for everyone, for the coffers of the town of Prescott Valley to enter into this agreement at this time? I wish that everybody was in a different economy right now, to where everybody felt confident that their money would stretch, that they could donate toward this purpose, or I think fundraising would be a little easier. It's just right now, I think times are so tough, and people are finding themselves homeless, they're finding themselves hungry, that I think the needs out there are otherwise than just childcare. What if the supporting companies that have the employees, that have the children that need this facility, what if they have a huge layoff and those parents are no longer able to put their children there because now they're home with their kids? It's just a consideration that's kind of scary at the moment. I totally support that we need childcare. I love the education aspect of this. My parents were educators. I get it. I didn't get to go to this facility when I was younger, where I lived, but I understand the need. I understand the want. I understand the pretty package it comes in, but I don't want it to hurt the economy of other companies that are currently in the childcare business in this area as well, and I don't know that they're at max capacity and having the need for overflow. I think when one company opens, you have to worry, does it take from another in order to succeed? You know, I have a hard time saying yes right now. I'm also in real estate. I wear many hats. And I think when I hear a customer say no to me, what they're saying is no, not now. It's not that I don't want the project, I do. I'm just having a hard time with saying that I'm going to commit funds from our coffers for the next 40 years. It's going to be a burden, not just a legacy. And it is hard on our hearts, it's hard on our shoulders. Everybody may want it because it's such an exciting project, but do they understand the costs? Do they understand how hard it is to raise funds right now? And that's where I'm going to leave it back to you. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman.
Mr. Polk, you want to respond to anything so far?
Sure, yeah. Councilwoman Schumacher and Councilwoman Dickinson, your concerns are well stated. What I would say, though, is that the fundraising, the YMCA is so confident in the fundraising that they're not saying we're going to go out and fundraise, cross our fingers. We're saying we're going to cover those costs. And so those costs are coming either through donors or from the Prescott YMCA. So we're committing ourselves all in on this project too. What I'll say is we've been in constant dialogue with donors, and we have very significant donors already that say we want to donate, and what we're waiting on is the commitment with the town. And so the signing of the agreement. So we're ready to go tomorrow, sending out funding request letters. Right now it's kind of grant season. We have major foundations in Yavapai County that cover Prescott Valley. They're highly interested in this project. They care about children. They care about the YMCA. They're ready to open up their checkbooks and make grants to make this a reality. What they're waiting on is the commitment from the town. And so we're ready to go on that, and I would urge you to reconsider your positions and move forward with the belief and understanding that this is the right thing to do for our community, and it's the right thing to do it today. Thank you.
Vice Mayor? I'm sorry, I didn't realize it's, oh, okay. Councilwoman Hepperly, I was just going down the line.
I'm not sure who said this. It might have been Gilbert. Did I hear that there's COVID relief funding attached to this? You guys have that, or?
Mayor, council member, yes, we had pledged $5 million, and that's what's been used as part of the seed money. So the remainder of that, which is approximately $4 million, will be coming back as part of project costs.
Okay, so there's not the time frame that we have for spending those funds, that doesn't apply?
No.
Okay, just wanted to verify that. Don't really have anything else to say.
Councilwoman Leyva, anything to add? I think it's never a good time. As a parent, I think we all know, something comes up and you're like, hey, an expense is coming in that you weren't expecting or that you are planning on spending money on, and it's a tough thing to swallow, and you kind of question, well, what's it going to look like, a year from now, 2 years from now, or 3 years from now with my budget? But it's always the right thing to do. It's always the right thing to do in regards to if it's something that's going to benefit our community, we look at it that way, it's within our realm, doing the what if, like trying to predict the future. I wish we all had that crystal ball. I wish, Councilwoman Schumacher, you could tell me exactly what would be happening. But unfortunately, we don't have that. Could another pandemic happen tomorrow? Absolutely. But if we went on living our lives like that for the rest of our lives, our community would go nowhere. So that's just, again, my thoughts on that. It's something we've talked about. It's not something we came up with last week. This is something that we as a community and staff has been working on for literally years. So I feel like we're not jumping in to something and not knowing what the outcome is. So that's my thought there. Is there anything you'd like to add, Mr. Polk, or in the back, Mr. Bennett?
Yeah, just by way of clarifying, some data was brought up that is incorrect, and I just want to, for the record, have that data corrected.
Sure.
And there are a number of those. First of which is the project maximum that's in the facility agreement is $29 million for the scope of the project. The bidding came in from Grow Development at right about that number, slightly below that number, 5% below that number or something. We then proceeded to, for a reality check, went to 2 major contractors and had them bid. And their numbers came in, both of those numbers, and those companies were Westpac and Hayden Construction. I don't know why I keep doing that. And both of those sets of numbers came in $3 to $5 million below the high bid that came in from Grow. So our numbers are, all of the numbers that we have are below that $29 million number. The YMCA never said that that was the cost of the number. And the realities are, and we had a good idea that Grow Development numbers were high because historically they've done over 600 Ys, 800 Ys. And they're characteristically high because they don't want to come in low because of their reputation. So we knew we had a good idea, and then we reality checked it, and we reality checked it with the 2 best contractors around, and it came in significantly lower. We are under that budget by several $1 million. So I just wanted to correct that. Second point, we never promised to raise $10 million. We entered into a campaign, a capital campaign, with the goal of raising $10 million. And we were not successful in raising that $10 million. We had 2 very large prospects who were we were given the impression that these prospects would be very major donors for large sums, and they have not yet come through. They are still prospects, to be honest with you, but with time and with doing this during COVID, we have a $5.5 million allocation in the budget, the federal budget at this point in time in the appropriations package, which we don't think is going to pass now because of what's going on with our federal budget. But these numbers, when it became apparent to us that time was running out and we needed to do something with the funds that we had raised through a professional fundraiser, we went to the town and said, this is what we can do now. Is that okay? Or what do you want to do? And the town came back to us and said, we'd like to consider a bonding option and do something and get this to a different place. And the last year and a half, I think, has been involved in dialogue relative to that and doing due diligence. The statistics with regard to childcare vendors, I really want to specifically say that we have the YMCA is the largest childcare provider in the world. It's the largest child care provider in the United States. It's the largest child care provider in Arizona. It's the largest child care provider in Yavapai County. We have very robust data on this subject. And we know clearly that small child care providers do not suffer from large YMCAs coming in and taking over markets. In fact, they do better. Because what happens is these small child care providers are not credentialed the way the YMCA is through NACOG. 75% of the childcare that's provided in our community at the YMCA is funded through federal funding through certification. These other small providers do not have that economic impact. It will not add, we have robust data to that effect. What we do also have data on is on a study that was done by the U.S. Chamber of Commerce on the economic impact of the childcare deficit in Arizona in the year 2021, and that number was $17.7 billion. Per capita, that means that this community in Prescott Valley is losing north of $11 million a year due to the childcare deficit. And so these are numbers that are pretty robust numbers. There is a massive demand for childcare. When we proposed our childcare facility, we surveyed 6 of the largest employers in this community, and their responses alone was more than 100% of what our childcare facility plan was designed to do. So childcare is a huge issue in our community. Yavapai College's program on training people to go back into the job market is floundering because they are not able to bring people into their program because they can't get childcare. It's a very significant economic driver. It is our duty to deal with that. Just a couple of other things. With regard to the Colorado facility, the issue that was raised, the Colorado facility that was used as a prototype for this is part of a chain. However, YMCAs have very good bookkeeping systems, and that facility is completely self-supporting and does not rely upon other facilities. That's one of the reasons why we use it as a model. Finally, I would say that our data suggests that, and specifically I'll tell you that the data was that we went to Westpac when we did our first original cost modeling, and they gave us numbers, and that was 2 years ago, something like that. We went back to them again quite recently when we've revisited this, and their numbers, and our dialogue with them was their bids are lower. The costs are dropping and are going down. So we are not highly concerned about the inflationary components. And my other understanding is that the bonding here would not be funding for 40 years. It would be funding for a much shorter period of time. And I think Gilbert can verify that. So I just wanted to make sure that some of those statistics and numbers were some reality was brought forward on those. So thank you.
Thank you, Council, for your consideration of this very important project. It is a project that will go into the future in a very, very good way. We look forward to working with your staff. We appreciate your passion about this, Mayor. It's a big undertaking. This doesn't get us all the way home. We have work to do if we decide to move forward, and just thank you for your consideration.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Mayor, I'll close with one parting comment, and that's, the finances they're scary, right? They're large numbers. But the cost certainty that we get with this and the cost sharing between the town and the YMCA and the obligations we're taking on, they pencil out in the budget. And that's not us. That's, I'd look to your staff on that. The staff recommendation is to approve, and that's because it pencils out in the budget. So I urge you to approve this today. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anything else to add from staff?
The only additional clarification is when we get to the actual bonding discussions, we will be looking at 20, 25, and 30-year bonds. So we'll price out interest rates and pay, amortization schedules on that.
Thank you, sir. Any other comments or questions for staff before we call for a vote? Or call for a motion, please? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion at this time. With a motion, can I have a second, please?
Well, you want me to
Oh,
read
I'm
it
sorry,
first?
that'd probably be good if we had actually read the motion. I apologize.
I make a motion to approve the Facilities Management Agreement with Prescott Valley Community Center Initiative, LLC, to supersede the current development agreement in anticipation of the town constructing a new initial YMCA facility that will be managed by PVCCI.
With the motion, I see a second from Councilwoman Greer. Clerk, please call the vote.
I second it.
Vice Mayor Hunt, Mr. Mayor, the motion passed 4-3.
Thank you, ma'am. Moving on, item 9B, Prescott Valley Legislative Agenda 2024, consideration and possible action. Mr. Davidson?
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, this item is in relation to our annual legislative priorities. As you know, we had discussions with our legislative representatives and provided this overview. This document that is approved by the council instructs and authorizes our designated lobbyist as well as our staff to be able to represent our community as it relates to various types of bills that could impact the town both in a positive and negative way. This authorization includes a number of key provisions. So first is always protecting the town's revenue sources and any unfunded mandates that the state may impose. Second is economic development tools to attract new industries and commercial. Again, the heart of this is about job creation and economic growth tools. Third is protecting capital infrastructure and water resources. Fourth is the attainable housing in a broad sense, so anything that's going to help support housing. And then finally is we are a member of and help to support the League of Arizona Cities and Towns. The league represents all cities and towns across Arizona, and we always want to try to align with them when they are taking on the legislature or the governor's office on particular bills. So that would be consistent with what we've done in prior years. This item is supported by, we have an external lobbyist firm called TriAdvocates, and that is a annually funded component of our budget. And then they will help to carry out these provisions when the legislative session starts in January. I'll take any questions.
Council, have any additional questions for Mr. Davidson? I believe this is also what we discussed last week, I think it was,
Yes.
with our legislature.
I have no question, only a comment. I am very happy with the way that TriAdvocates has represented us down in the legislature over the last year. They have been very proactive. They have been supportive of the town. They have kept us in the loop and have advised us of everything that is going on and all the concerns that we need to be concerned about. And they've been right at the front line working for us. And I support this 100%.
Thank you.
If there's no other, are there any other, comments or questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to adopt the attached legislative agenda 2024 as guiding principles and priorities for TriAdvocates in its service to the town for the 2024 legislative session.
I'll second.
Clerk, please call the vote. Thank you, ma'am. Next up, item 9C, FDP 23-016, Bahama Bucks. Mr. Ruby.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council, the item before you is the final development plan for Bahama Bucks. It's a request by Polo Padilla of ID Studios 4, agent for Pleasant Blessings Holdings, to approve this final development plan for Bahama Bucks. It's a portion of APN 10371-001K in the Glassford Hill Marketplace located on Glassford Hill Road just south of Yavapai College. The plan provides for development of a fast food restaurant of approximately 2,052 square feet with an additional 537 feet in outdoor dining area on approximately an acre pad. On November 15, 2018, the Town Council approved the final development plan for development of the Marketplace North Commercial Center comprising private roadways and infrastructure to support 65,000 to 90,000 square feet of allowable building floor area distributed across 5 acres for office and commercial uses on approximately 12 acres located on the west side of Glassford Hill Road, west side of Glassford Hill Road. The proposed establishment will be a one-story building, and if I may, it's located approximately here. You can see that Yavapai College is here. This is the proposed site. This is the Alliance Building Improvement Store, and the Maverick is located here. It will be a one-story building with a landscape outdoor dining area, strategic location just south of Yavapai College, north of the Alliance Home Improvement Center. It's bounded by commercial developments to the south, an educational use and vacant land to the north, and a residential neighborhood links Lake Estates Number 2 to the west, and of course, Glassford Hill Road to the east. The traffic impact analysis for this project indicates that the project would generate 112 AM peak hour and 95 PM peak hour trips. This is the layout of the site. I'm sorry, let me go back one. As you can see, the ingress and egress is off of Glassford Hill. This is a private drive, which will link to another private drive going south on the project site. The internal commercial private driveways will be required to, prior to any final certificate of occupancy. So ingress would be here and here. The final development plan has been reviewed by town staff and meets the town standards. Landscaping and lighting will be provided. These are elevations of the site. It is in a great location near the Yavapai College and the high school. This is the landscape plan for the project. Again, there's two areas of ingress, egress off of Glassford Hill here with a right turn in. There's already a deacceleration lane here, and exit would be for a right turn out only onto Glassford Hill Road. Landscape and lighting, as I mentioned, will be installed pursuant to town requirements, town codes 1326 and 1326A respectively. Proposed use is consistent with existing uses in the area and is congruent with the provisions of the C2 pad zoning district and the town center plan designation in the general plan 2035. Staff recommends approval of the final development plan for a Bahama Bucks facility, and I'd be glad to answer any questions if you have them.
Council, we have questions?
There is a second egress across the bridge going towards Maverick, is that correct? There's like
Yes,
another exit that they could also.
That would be one of the private drives that would be here
Going
and
down.
would go down south to the
'Cause then they
Alliance.
could- So they could also take a left at the light to go back, because when you're saying there's a right turn only onto Glassford Hill, if they go out the other way, they will be able to take a left at the light.
It will be a right turn only.
Okay,
And that road is already in.
yeah,
So we can
correct.
see that.
Okay, just wanted to make sure. Thank you.
Vice Mayor?
Ernie, can we ask them if they could, I know they're doing the minimum standards of landscaping, but could we ask them to upgrade landscaping along Glassford Hill, please? Because it's pretty skinny.
I agree with Lori on the landscaping.
We will make sure or if you'd like to condition it that way, we'd love to do that. But I think we can have a conversation with the applicant, and they'll be glad to do that.
With the outdoor patio, can you point out where that's going to be, please?
I believe it's in this area here.
So it's going to be covered,
Yes, it's going to be a covered
And-
outdoor dining area.
and the landscaping around that area, what, can you show your,
Well, there's landscaping
Laser.
here along Glassford Hill, and there's some internal landscaping in the parking lot throughout here. But this is the main area here, and this is the Glassford Hill. There's some town right-of-way here that we will discuss with the applicant to see if they can enhance that landscaping and make it a nice visual on Glassford Hill.
will there be sidewalks there? Will they be?
Yes, ma'am. There will be sidewalks internally here, and they will link to Glassford Hill on this side.
Because we know that the kids will go there for the shaved ice. Yeah. And,
Yes, ma'am.
yeah, we need to protect them and make sure that they have a good place to walk.
That's correct, Councilmember Dickinson, and that's one of the reasons that staff is asking, and it's in your resolution, that these private drives be established and workable prior to certificate of occupancy.
Okay, thank you.
If there's no more questions or comments, I'll entertain a motion, please.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to authorize the mayor to sign resolution number 2023-2347, adopting final development plan FDP 23-016 for a Bahama Bucks facility by electronic vote.
I'll second.
Clerk, please call the vote.
Vice Mayor Hunt,
Sorry.
That passes unanimously, Mayor.
Thank you, ma'am. Last item, item 9D, noise code amendment, consideration and possible action. Lieutenant Hayes, welcome.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. I'm Dan Hayes. I'm one of the patrol lieutenants for the police department. Municipalities nationwide have a role in regulating noise within the community. Noise can be reasonable and necessary under certain circumstances, but unreasonable and a public nuisance in others. Noise regulations have traditionally been based on subjective evaluations by enforcement personnel based on specific facts. However, in recent years, enforcement has been augmented by the use of specific measurement using specialized instruments. Regulations may be enforced by police personnel, typically in nighttime hours, or by other code enforcement officers, typically during the day. As the town of Prescott Valley has matured in size and variety of uses within its borders, the town council has occasionally amended the noise code to address specific issues. However, the code has largely retained its traditional approach of subjective evaluation by enforcement personnel. Recently, the town has noted an increase in complaints from occupants of residential zones located adjacent to commercial zones about noise produced by entertainment venues within those zones. Similarly, the Prescott Valley Town Council has continued to develop with the Prescott Valley Town Center has continued to develop with new entertainment, business, and residential opportunities, all located in close proximity to one another. To ensure a proper balance of interests, the Town Council asked town staff to review municipal codes throughout Arizona to see what they may offer in this regard. The staff has now conducted the requested reviews and met internally to discuss how identified new regulations might increase the effectiveness and responsiveness of noise enforcement. The primary code changes that we are recommending in the new code provide for the use of sound level meters to measure specific noise levels in decibels to determine noise violations in certain circumstances and assist with determining whether noise is unreasonable in other circumstances. Adding a rebuttable presumption that noise levels over 60 decibels between the hours of 10 p.m. and 7 a.m. are unreasonable if they can be heard beyond the property line of the property where the noise originates. Specifying as unlawful certain noise levels during certain time periods originating from designated commercial zones to residential dwellings in adjacent residential zones, or from commercial areas to residential dwellings in the town center, as measured inside the dwellings with all windows and doors closed using a calibrated sound level meter. Specifically prohibiting sound amplification systems operated on public property or rights of way, producing noise plainly audible or vibrations felt at 50 feet in any direction from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m., or plainly audible or vibrations felt by anyone other than the operator between 10 p.m. and 10 a.m. Specifically prohibiting sound trucks and related sound amplification devices attached to vehicles that emit a loud and raucous noises. Clarifying that noise from parades, concerts, festivals, fairs, or similar activities that remain within any sound limits approved by the town are exempt from listed noise limitations. And clarifying that noise from athletic, musical, or cultural activities or events, including practices and rehearsals, conducted by or under the auspices of public or private schools are exempt from listed noise limitations. And lastly, clarifying that the first two offenses under the noise code within a 24-month period are civil offenses subject to increasing civil penalties, but a third offense during the same time frame may be charged as a criminal misdemeanor offense. I'll make myself available for any questions.
Lieutenant, I just have a quick question. Would this apply to if a resident has a neighbor with a very, very loud car? Does it apply to that and say they leave early for work or something and it disrupts one neighbor versus another? Does that apply to this or no?
According to this, yes, sir, it could, but it would need to have the sound decibel reader there, that sort of thing.
Sure.
Yeah.
And we're anticipating on purchase. I'm guessing we don't have those currently.
We don't. I've reviewed prices for a calibrator and some readers. It's very reasonable. It wouldn't be a large purchase at all.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yep.
Councilwoman?
I had a similar comment because I have a neighbor, 4:30 every morning,
Yeah.
starts his car up, lets it run for a half hour before, I think to myself, the price of gas, and he lets it run for a half hour, 4:30 every morning.
Yes, ma'am.
Turns on all the motion lights. It's quite the deal.
Yep.
Also, the list of vehicles, I noticed you did not have motorized bicycles. And in my neighborhood, we have 2 or 3 that are, that's their hobby, making these motorized bikes and up and down the streets constantly. And I see them on the road quite often as
Right.
well. But high-pitched, you know, I know it disturbs, I mean, if it disturbs me, it disturbs the rest of the neighbors.
I mean, that's a very good question, ma'am, and
But it's
even though
not
they're
on
not
your list.
listed on the list,
No.
if their noise is above that 60 decibel level, I believe it can be enforced.
Okay, even though it's not listed.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
That's a good question. Thank you.
And one other question for like barking dogs that are a nuisance?
Yes.
It'd be working for that too. Okay, thank you.
Anything else? Anything else for the lieutenant? With that being said, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to read ordinance number 2023-931 by title only on 2 separate occasions, amending Town Code 10-01-070, noise, then place the same on final passage by electronic vote.
I second it.
Clerk, please call the vote.
Vice Mayor Hunt? Thank you. That passes unanimously, Mayor.
Thank you, ma'am. Can I have a motion to?
Ordinance-
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Ordinance number 2023-931. An ordinance of the mayor and common council of the town of Prescott Valley, a municipal corporation of Arizona, amending section 10-1-70, noise, and article 10-1, offenses, in chapter 10, offenses of the town code to provide for measurement of noise levels within the town and to establish noise levels maximums as a means to regulate and eliminate excessive, unnecessary, and annoying noises, providing that all other chapters, articles, and sections of the town code not herein repealed or amended shall remain in full force and effect, providing that if any provision in this ordinance is held invalid by a court of competent jurisdiction, the remaining provisions shall not be affected but shall continue in full force and effect, and providing that this ordinance shall be effective 30 days after its passage and approval according to law. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Now, item 10. Can I have a motion to adjourn, please?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
I second it.
Clerk, please call the vote.
That passes unanimously, Mayor.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks for coming out and sticking around, everyone.